Good afternoon, everybody. It's Joe and Steve again. We thought we'd give you the update and the rundown of what we're actually going to be doing with our new boat that's a project, which is Valiant. So Steve's going to start taking us through what's going to happen. Off you go, Steve. You tell them.
Okay, so we're going to start with the front hold. And I'll get in here. And to be honest, if you can see that down there, this is just light surface rust. Okay, so what we need to do is all over, probably with a wire brush. We don't need to go too mad with it because none of it's structural rust. We need to scrape it, hoover all the dust out, and then we need to use a rust converter, which I believe contains tannic acid. And what it does is it turns the brown stinky horrible rust into a black colour, and it puts a polymer sealant on it. Once all this is done, which is probably a day's work by the time you've let it dry and everything, it'll then get painted. We'll probably paint the walls a creamy colour so that it gives a bit of light, and we'll do the floor with probably just with the floor paint because it's a dry locker. I mean, there is a hatch here which you can't open at the moment because it's locked on the outside, but this is going to be a storeroom. I'm going to paint the roof for this on the outside cream. It's red at the moment, but if we paint it cream, it'll keep the because this is actually in the water here, we're at the water line, it'll keep this cool, so it'd be great for storing oil and donut mix and stuff like that, potentially.
And it is really warm in there at the minute, isn't it?
And at the moment, what I'm going to do one day, I'm going to get we've got a thermal thermometer, I'm going to wait until the sun's been on the boat roof, and I'll do it off, I keep forgetting the name, Valiant.
Valiant, it's because it's new, folks.
Because Valiant's got a red roof, I'll take the temperature on that, and then I'll show you the temperature on Mingulay, which has got a cream roof, just to say the difference is, you can touch one and you can't touch the other. It gets that hot, and you wouldn't believe how much of a difference it actually makes.
Right, watch the back.
Okay, and obviously painting up, tidying up the doors. We can crack on with that as soon as we've got the rust converter, really. But we haven't got that because my priority at the moment is if Joe just pans up and down the hold, and I'll tell you what all the bits and pieces are in a minute. But this hold clearly needs a roof on it so that we can make it watertight from the elements, which will then allow us to start getting ballast in it.
So it's going to be very similar to this boat we're moored alongside. This is what it looks like when a boat is tarped.
The difference with theirs is this style of boat has a hoop. We're going to have an apex, basically.
Yeah.
So if you look down, as you can see, she's had water in her all the time, and it's all dirty from the jobs it was doing. This is the same job that we did in this compartment. We need to get the loose rust off, use the rust converter, paint the bejesus out of it, and then at that point we can start putting ballast in. And we're probably going to use block pavers, but we'll use whatever we come across as we're going along. Once we've got the tarps over it and she's watertight, we can then start doing that. Once we've got to that level, the next job, Kingspan insulation in these gaps, and then I've worked it out, we need 3 down each side, plywood sheets. That will then clad it and it'll be insulated. Yeah? All good so far?
Yeah, all good.
Once you've done that, you can then start laying the flooring sheets.
Oh, I'll just move this way. Clumsy Joe.
We can't lay the flooring sheets first, which would make it a lot easier for Clumsy Joe. Because if you do, when you do the sides, you won't be able to lift the floor back up again. So that's the reason why we're doing that. That's just to keep the weather off some tables and chairs that are stacked there. This is my manual bilge pump that I was using to empty the barrels. And the reason why I was emptying the barrels and moving barrels out, that thing there,
Just show you just there.
that is the bilge pump. The bilge pump doesn't work, and the reason why it doesn't work is because there's so much sand and gravel and everything else like that in here. If you look down here, can you see that hole there?
Yeah, the hole just there,
There's one in every one of these
Yeah.
risers, and that's to allow the water to run from the front to the back, and the bilge pump You can see where the pipe comes out, goes down to where all that water is now, look. That's from the rain yesterday.
Yeah.
But because there's so much muck and dust in here, no matter how many times I try clean it up, it's constantly getting dust and bits of trees in there. That's what kills your bilge pump, basically.
Yeah.
So it all goes back to, you need a roof on it, you can properly clean it. I'm going to sort the bilge pump out today, but we're not going to be operating that. I'll use my little wet and dry vacuum cleaner that I've got. And yeah, really, it's just working all the way along these bays, getting everything sorted and watertight and treated. Because obviously, once we've got the ballast in here, you're not going to be able to get back.
So you've treated it all. You've got walls. You've got floor. What are you doing next?
Having a holiday.
No, the kitchen, you goon.
No. So the next step after that.
This is going to be sectioned, this bit.
So this hold, I'm going to work in feet and inches because it's easier for my little brain to do it, because that's what I know. So
because he's old.
That red wall there, to that grey wall there, is 24 foot. Okay, we want a 12-foot kitchen. And the reason why we want that is because these stainless steel tables come in 6 foot, 4 foot, 3 foot, and so on. 6 foot's a good size. So what we thought was, kitchen, freestanding, obviously you've got the flooring, 2 tables going that way, 2 tables going that way. It leaves enough room to have a gap so Joe can actually get to here to serve, so there'll be a couple of foot gap there. And then what we need to do is build a bulkhead. So, but a bulkhead is a wall basically in a boat. So again, the roof and everything's on. From there to say here, 6 foot, we build a wall with a door over on this side here. Okay?
What's the door for?
The door is so that you can separate the toilet and the hand washing facilities that'll be in there. It will also be a bit of a storeroom as well for other bits and pieces, probably like janitorial.
Janitorial? I don't think that's the right word.
You find it is. Janitorial, whatever. When we got the janitor, that'll be Joe. She's got somewhere to put the cleaning materials and what have you. Maybe a bath, but who knows.
Yay!
Coming back down this way, so the same thing again. From here to it's about here, 6 foot. That will be additional storage, basically. It'll have shelving in it. We haven't decided exactly what will be stored in there, but we need more storage anyway. And again, this will have a bulkhead across it. In this kitchen as well, part of these tables, probably on this wall here, will be a double sink unit.
I was just about to say to you, so where am I washing up then?
There will be a double sink unit or even a single sink unit, depends on how it looks, the space. I've got to admit, when I started laying it out, I'm thinking, we need a bigger boat.
And he did tell me that. He popped his bed back over and went, I hate to tell you this, Joe, we need a bigger boat. But at that point, I went into a pure meltdown.
The problem is, as you can see there, because we're carrying all them barrels, it feels small.
Once they're out of here and we've got the ballast in, this is going to look massive in here. Well, not massive, but it's still going to look a lot bigger.
And then, really, the whole idea with this furniture was so that we can move it around. Because...
So we don't have one set side we will trade from.
So the canvas in the centre will roll up either way, depending which is the towpath side.
And so that will be open here. Like Steve said, you'll be able to serve people like that from here. It's about the right height, and I'll be a little bit higher once I'm on the floor. And Steve's been shopping this morning. Where have you been, Steve, this morning?
We went to a builder's merchant. And I've ordered the wood to make the frame and the planks along. And I'll see if I can just show you basically what we're doing. So, from there and there, if you can imagine longer bits of wood, obviously.
So
there'll be 2 pieces of wood like that going up. And then at the top, where they meet, we're having 2 scaffolding planks which are about that big, and they will sit like that, and the wood will come to, they'll basically sit on the top of that V we've made,
Yeah.
that apex. So there'll be one there, and then we move down here and there'll be another one, and so on.
Yeah.
A total of 6.
Yeah.
So 12 in total, 6 either side.
Yeah.
Once the scaffolding planks have gone down, it'll be self-supporting because it'll be nailed up and everything.
Yeah.
All I've got to do is I've got to suss out the best way for them to sit on that bit,
Yeah.
which will probably just involve putting a V cut in there so it drops down and locks against that.
Yeah.
Once we've done that, we have a 24-foot long canopy by 200. This is where I've got to now go into millimetres on it. So it's 280 centimetres or 2,800 millimetres, the canvas.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to put it
Over.
cut it, bring it down, put it over, cut it,
Yeah.
and so on, because it's 24 foot long. And I've got some other bits of canvas as well. The good news is they're all black.
Yeah.
So once that gets draped over, hiya, all right. Once that gets draped over, what we're going to do then, so you've got the loose edge of canopy coming out here.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll a piece of wood up like that, which
Yeah.
we've ordered. That will sit there.
Yeah.
Then we drill through there, there, and there.
Yeah.
That drills it down. The canvas is finishing there.
Yeah.
Water runs down. This gunnel's designed to take water to the back.
Yeah. So it runs all the way back.
It's welded on there anyway.
Yeah.
Probably put a bit of sealant down this edge there, but then any water should either run straight off, or it'll run down there and out.
Yep.
At this end, obviously, where the smaller version of it would be like that.
Yeah.
What we do then is I've got some plywood sheeting for the moment, and I'll cut a face into that.
Yeah.
Because we're going to need a bit of ventilation as well.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to be higher than that.
Yeah.
But that's what happens there, and it's the same on the other end. Ultimately, we may need to get this 6 foot section of canvas
Yeah.
properly made.
Yeah.
Because you want it ideally to fit round that cabin.
Yeah, it fits around the cabin. I
And-
don't know if you can see this one
Yeah,
just
similar
here.
to that.
So can you see this one here? Theirs fits round the side of the cabin there to the seal. And that's what we're eventually going to have. The
plus the
tarps we've got at the moment, our friends whose boat place we're at the minute, they've got some spare old ones that are letting us have, and that they no longer use, and that's what we're using for temporary covering, aren't we?
Yeah. Because the problem.
And we'll replace them later on. Did you give me the eyes then? You did, didn't you? Go on then. The problem is,
The problem's going to be is making access to it,
yeah,
because as you can see there, if you lift that little flap up,
this one.
yeah, that canvas, although it looks all in one, has got a doorway cut into it.
Yeah, so it's got a door where
So
you cut in.
We need to make something like that.
Yeah,
And that's where obviously if somebody was making them for us, you'd get them to put probably zips.
yeah,
You'd
zips
have
will be the better
zips.
thing.
You could have a bit of a window on it with the roll down flap.
Yeah.
But that's from a much later
Yeah.
date. And to be fair, we haven't costed that yet. have we?
No.
We've no idea what to expect.
No.
From that. The good news is I priced up the plywood sheets. Nowhere near that what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
And to fit them here, it will sit exactly on that and come to there without cutting.
yeah,
So as I say, I measured this. We need 3 sheets, and it almost fit exactly without
free sheets.
one sheet,
No, free sheets.
not 1 sheet, 3 sheets. The bit that the 6 foot section that's here backwards, we will put plywood on the inside of that.
Yeah,
And we'll put Kingspan behind that as well to
Yeah.
insulate that. So you'll have the tarp, Kingspan, plywood.
Yeah.
And that'll give it a nice finish, and we can paint that as well with a eggshell emulsion or something
Yeah.
to make it nice and light.
yeah,
Obviously on the planks I'll be able to put LED lighting down it,
yeah,
because it would be nice to make it quite fancy looking, particularly around the kitchen.
Yeah.
The reason why we've got to have that 12-foot kitchen as well, the donut machine, it's gas, so it's propane gas and 12 volt to operate it. 12 volt runs the conveyor belt. I don't know if this means anything to anybody, but the burner is a 10.5 kilowatt burner, which is big. That's bigger than your household oven. It is big, and it chucks out an awful lot of heat.
Yeah.
And it comes out. If that's the donut machine sort like that, it's coming out there, going straight up.
Yeah.
Well, as you can see from the height of that, we're only going to be slightly taller than that.
Yeah.
It's got to be away from the canvas, or it's just going to melt it.
Yeah.
Or catch fire. So the donut machine would either sit this side or that side, depending which way we're serving. And we've got to be able to roll that canopy back for the time being, for the heat from the donut machine to get out. I'll cover it in more when we've cleaned up the donut machine, because it needs cleaning because it's been in storage. She's looking very dusty. I purposely left it covered in oil basically because it'd be easier to clean it. I just got the eyes then because Joe's thinking, oh, nobody's going to want to buy a donut from the dusty machine. It's been in storage.
I know it's going to be steam cleaned and everything. I know, and
So we left
sterilised.
it covered in oil
Yeah.
to protect it, and it's done its job. I think we can make a cowl that'll fit on the exhaust, and then we'll be able to put a chimney on it. Basically.
Yeah, calling all engineers. Send your photos to us to show us how to make this. When we show you the machine, we want you to show us an idea of what we could do.
I've got an idea. I'm
Yeah.
hoping if we can get a big enough pipe, that flex sort of stuff, you could probably squash aluminium pipe
Yeah.
to fit on it. And then it just leaves us with the problem of probably deciding where are we going to put the donut machine then, so it's in the same place all the time.
Yeah.
Because we're also thinking, that, as you can see the angle of this boat, and you can see if I walk, I don't know if the camera's picking that up,
Yeah, we're rocking.
we're rocking. Now every time a boat goes past, that happens. The oil level's doing that on
Yeah.
the donut machine, or it's doing that. And when it's doing that, it ruins the donuts basically. You get bonuts. In fact, I don't think there's much nut in them, is there?
No.
So what we were thinking of, I can't demonstrate it, but the principle of a plumb bob is, if you hang something there with a weight on there, no matter which angle you go at, the bottom of it will always be level.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad example of that, but so if we can get it where that's then got a table coming off it and the donut machine can sit on it,
Yeah.
once we get to the point we've moored up, because sometimes we'll tie and the boat will end up at that angle because we've tied up tight. But if this is freestanding, the whole thing will be like that, but that will still hang straight.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
I get you.
And then you could lock it off and at least you've got the basic level there.
Yeah.
But it's giving me sleepless nights thinking about that.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be worrying about that at the minute. The main bit at the minute is doing this out. So I know you like to know. So anyway, the wood's all getting delivered tomorrow. So hopefully there should be a bit of update, and Steve will be starting to mess around and seeing how things. So once he starts putting wood and doing the framing and that, we'll do another video on that, won't
But
we?
we haven't finished yet because there's more work to do.
Oh, is there? There's more work to do. And steps. Can you see that? That old ladder we're
Yeah,
using at the minute.
it's a problem.
We need to have some steps made so we can get in and out of here. At the minute, I'm a nervous wreck climbing up. Don't like it.
With the camera.
So you
I'm
take the
gonna
camera
help.
there with you.
And I'm just going to walk along here so I can get Joe's hand. That's it.
I've got it.
That's it. Give me your hand. And just walk along there. You can stand on that barrel.
Yeah.
Onto here. Right, now round to the back.
Okay.
What's
Make
your leg on
sure-
that?
What are you videoing there? Don't be a dead video.
I'm not. Okay, so we're just going past the engine room. Just one thing that Richard supplied me with, which is a tall exhaust stack. Just got a minor repair I need to carry out on it. There's the new bilge pump waiting to be fitted. And I'll hand that back over to Joe.
So we're now at the back cabin.
So, you're not going to be able to see a great deal. Can you see that?
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, so in here, under these boards, there's 3 boards. One runs that way, one runs that way, and the centre one. Underneath the centre one, it's dead space because the prop shaft runs there all the way through to the engine. So you can't put anything in that bit.
Yeah.
But either side of it goes, it's the swims basically, it goes all the way down to the base plate. There's currently bricks in it. Can you get one? There you go. Block pavers. Oh, they are quite heavy then.
Yeah.
That's what we need. So if you've got a garden full of block pavers, put a stamp on them and start sending us them. No, I'm joking. No, we need to get these sorted, but we've got all the other things to do first.
Yeah, that's got to go in after we've treated it.
It's almost the last job before the floor goes down,
Yeah.
isn't it? But we can put more ballast in here.
Yeah.
So temporarily, we're going to buy some coal from the coal boat.
Yeah.
From Ruth and Richard. Because where Joe's standing, again, that's all dead space under there. So I'm going to stack coal underneath there, which will, because when you go over there in a minute, you'll see how far out the water the counterplate is.
Yeah.
Because of the water I've took out the barrels.
Yeah.
So we need to get ballast in here. Also, if you pass me that, a little bit dangerous at the moment. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so what you're looking at there is where the prop shaft terminates and goes through the stuffing box and the stern gland. So basically, other side of that V is water and the propeller. But that spins. So this needs a cover over it. I need to put a box around it so that things like toolboxes or cans of Coke don't fall down into it and get damaged and cause a problem, basically. So that's one of the jobs. And then the other job is all these boxes in here. It's a waste of space at the moment because we're not getting the maximum out of it. So we want some sort of racking, don't we?
Yeah.
Couple of options available to us, but one is to basically make shelves so that them boxes can sit nice and tightly. Probably put a bungee or something down the front of them. Have them on both sides because we'd get a lot of boxes in here then.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these are empty, and hopefully when we collect our stuff out of storage,
Yeah.
the rest of it,
Yeah.
um,
We'll be full.
will be full and it'll all be good. And then finally looking into the engine room, what I will need to do, don't know if you can make it out there, if you can see that starter battery, on that wall below it, I need to fit at least 2 leisure batteries, 2 initially, because we're going to run this off solar power.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have an alternator for it. It will be generating power from the solar.
Yeah.
But again, that's a long, long way down. I've got to get these fitted somehow, but I've seen how all the other boats do it now. They don't fasten them on the boat. They put them on a piece of wood, a heavy piece of wood, and they stand it on the roof.
Yeah.
And that's about it, I think, really. I mean, it sounds massive.
Yeah.
It is massive,
Yeah.
but it's very, very achievable.
Yeah.
There's nothing making me think. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this frame because I'm not brilliant at woodwork. But measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
I've
yeah.
I've watched a lot of DIY programs. But it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just keep double checking on the measurements. Don't
Yeah.
commit to any cuts until you're absolutely certain. And job will be a good one.
And that'll be the bit where we're doing that and we're videoing it. And Steve's telling me to hold a bit of wood up and I get bored after 2 minutes. So I normally just like put my arms down and at that point he'll be measuring and then he'll re-measure again and he shouts at me, don't you,
It's
Steve?
completely different every time I measure it. Because Joe's waving it around.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be happening on the boat and hopefully the woodwork bit of it will start tomorrow. So I hope you've enjoyed today and I hope you carry on and keep following us. Say goodbye, Steve.
Goodbye, Steve.
Okay, speak to you soon. Bye.